Hello, I'm Dinus the Mirror.
Oh wow. Yeah, and they used to do initiations in here as well for a long time. This is quite a spiritual place.
Right.
When you go on a tour another time, sometimes there's a guy who's quite spiritual, and then he tells you about the spiritual relevance of well, there's Islam singing in the background.
Right, so that
The
came.
spiritual- I know. The spiritual relevance of the trees and the bushes, and particularly of this tree. He talks about it, and so we took a picture in here, and then all around us were lights.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was pretty deep. You want a picture, Age?
Mystic.
It is mystic. It's a mystic place.
The powers of the ancestors within this tree. The spirits of the ancestors, you know.
And so were lots of
As it
ants.
was taken away. You can feel the spirit.
Yeah,
Still
powerful.
present
You
here.
see all those ants, Adrian?
You see the one in Lamando.
It's bigger.
Yeah, that's the one that
Under
finger
the
went
tree.
to.
Oh.
Like this.
Oh wow.
Go, you get to the house.
Oh wow.
Trust me, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that Wodamaya went to.
You know, these trees is so much important in the history of this country. How old is this tree? 500 years. 500 years. In locally, we call it Bantaba.
Bantaba.
Bantaba means like a small parliament. In some village, you got a similar tree right in the center or the middle of the village. In all our village, we have alcalos, which are the
Yes.
chief of the village, and they have their elders of council. So these were the elders of these villages will have their local meeting chairs under the tree, and the people will respect anything, the meeting outcome of the meeting, and they will 100% respect it. But also at the same time, when it is out of the village, like in the bushes, it can be used for certain things like the circumcision we talk about in the museum over there. You know, when they bring the boys, like in here, it happens before that they used to bring about 200 boys in here. When they do the circumcision, they stay for 3 months. You know, this is where all the teaching will happen, so discipline will learn for 3 months. And these 3 months too, no woman is allowed to be walking around this campus, even the mother of those kids. You know, their fathers will only come to see them just every week, once in a week or twice, that's it. But they will be taken care of by the older men and in the village there for these 3 months. With the masquerade also. This is where they do so many teaching of sign languages and all the stuff, and how to a child to grow up from childhood to become a man. You know, so these are things. That's why the trees are very most important.
Yes,
so,
sir.
we never try to cut them down. You know, they stay out with us.
I think we should be doing that in the West, because a lot of these boys are a little bit wayward. They don't know their purpose.
Right.
You know, they're not balanced. They don't understand respect.
I have a friend. He's a Jamaican.
Yeah.
Son. About a couple of months ago, he was here with his father, and he went back, and he told me so much problem about him. And I spoke to his mother. I never met the mother before. He introduced it to me, the mother, through the telephone with communication. And he has about 6, 7, 8 children from different mothers. And he's about 47 years old now. And he still could not put anything in life. And he's like, and the mother told me she has about 8 children too. But so many of them, I think 3 of them in UK and the rest in US. But his only son is behaving badly, you know.
Yeah.
He said, if you can talk to him, I said, yeah, I help you. And I told him, son, see, you have to remember one thing. You know, where you live, it is not where you originally came from. It's the circumstances make you to live in there and to hold a passport. In the Gambia, I gave him example. There was always a saying in this country, like I said, told him in Jamaica, you always said like, every day taking the bucket to the well. One day the bottom must be dropped out.
Yes.
They say, in the Gambia, there's a saying also say that the parents are like a stone, and we the children of these parents are like an egg. If you take a stone and heat it in an egg, it's going to break off. If you take an egg and heat it in a stone, the same thing is going to happen. So that's how the parents are. If you don't respect your parents, you not treat them with well, that means in the future your children will not respect you and they will not treat you well. And it's it. You have to live up. The people that you are with, those people, they have no culture, they have no religion. And in Gambia, even though you are not Muslim, but our culture teach moral.
Yes.
You respect elders, you respect people.
Yes.
You get to get moral. You've grown up with those things. These make you better human being. I say the society that you live in there, if your life go messed, no one helps you.
Yep. Yeah.
Here, if you even go, your life go mess, you have family members, they might try to help you, friends, they want to come to help you. This is what we know here, but not in the society that you live in there. It's completely different. So don't be fooled by the circumstances that surround you in that place. It's never going to work out for you. One day you're going to regret it because your children will not behave good because they're learning gradually from you as a father.
Yeah.
That you are not behaving good. So they think anything you do, that's right. So they're going to do that. Yeah. So your behavior counts on your children too.
Can I ask a question? I noticed here in Gambia, from what I've seen, even though Islam is the dominant religion, correct? You guys have still held on to your traditional ways and religion. But in Senegal, it's just Islam. Is there a reason why that's the case? Do you know?
You see, in Senegal, we share the same culture and the same everything. We have religion, we have the same language, we speak across both these two countries. But because Senegal, the population there is bigger than our population, and they have more scholars, Islamic scholars. And each of the Islamic scholars, that they have their followers.
All right.
So, and the Senegalese are very respectful and answerable to their scholars. And anything they told them to do, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Anything that they told them to stop, that's what they're going to stop.
All right.
So that's become, in here we have scholars, but it's completely different. That we are not like with Senegalese, they follow this guy, I believe in him, he's going to, through his way, you have King Selassie, like Marcus Jabi and all that. So like in Senegal, it's like that. If you want to follow Selassie, but that doesn't mean that people go with the idea or the feeling of Marcus Jabi. They should be having a problem with the people that say, no, we don't trust in Marcus Jabi, or the people who say that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, but the problem is the one language they teach, that one common thing they do, that we are all one.
Yeah.
All right.
We are all one, despite that we have different leaders in the front of us, but they all preach the same thing. That's the unity, but also they would know they have so much modernized their culture.
Yeah, very true.
That's why even the Wolof they speak, almost 65% of the language of Wolof now, not in the Gambia, but in Senegal, is dominated by the French.
Yeah.
So that's why you can see
Is what by the French?
Yeah, because they speak
dominant
more,
French.
Yeah, in their Wolof is being controlled by the French because they speak more French inside the Wolof. We can speak Mandinka, Wolof, or Jola in here without speaking not English, without not blaming it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they'll use French words in their.
So they use more French words in the Wolof. So that become a little bit different. That you will not see much rich culture in Senegal like you would see.
Yeah, because I asked a friend of mine. I said, "What's the indigenous religion of Senegal?" And he was like, "Islam." And I was like, "Okay, before Islam." He was like, "Islam," and I'm like,
I think the biggest problem which Senegal is facing that, when if you are colonized by the French and then you are colonized by the British, there are different gaps because the French normally they use their colonies as an extension, of their own country. For instance, like Senegal was colonized by France, and Senegal was just so that okay, you are part of France.
Right.
You understand? And they have been shown you are part of France, and that make them to forget even their cultures because you go
Well,
there,
that's
even
not-
how
not-
they dress,
not-
they put on
not-
suit or
not,
other stuff.
not,
They forget their culture.
not to cut you off, because I've been to Mali, and Mali's very Islamic, and they've held on to their traditional religion. Benin Republic, that's the heart of voodoo.
Yeah.
Togo as well. It's just for some reason Senegal, like Islam is.
Yeah.
Everything.
This is what happened there, because like you see that as the way the French were taken, because they don't even get total independent that time. So you can see the French were many there, they control everything. So that makes them to forget even about their cultures and tradition. So that makes them to forget their culture and tradition, and also Islam come along on the way. If you don't have anything what to handle, whatever you see, you follow that. So this is one of the problems the Senegalese are facing, because they are not French, they are not Islam, they are not tradition.
Yeah.
So now what they have seen, because the scholars have a very big influence
Right.
in the public, and then the scholars also can do a lot of things, and people can see it on daylight. So now they started following. Any scholar who comes out, they all follow, because they don't know culture. Maybe when you go to the Casamance region, there you can see most of this culture about and other stuff.
Yep.
Like the circumcision he was talking about, I was also circumcised like that way. That I was taken to the bush, you understand, and then they used the traditional way of circumcision. We were around 40-something boys in the bush. So we stay for 1 month, 1 week in that bush. But like in that bush, they teach us many things. Today I know more than 100 traditional songs which I can sing still, because when we were there, when we were gathered there, almost 40-something of us. So every day they sing to us. They sing different songs to us. So these are songs we sing, and they also teach us many ways how to stay with elders. So one of the things they teach you that they will tell you, okay, now if you see anybody who is old like your father, you call him a father. And if you see anyone who is old like your grandmother, you call him a grandmother.
Grandma.
And then they even teach you how to eat, because they tell, okay, the moment you are eating, if there are a piece of a meat in a soup, do not touch the meat, you understand? And they tell, do not look at elders in their eyes. And you should understand, if elders are gathering as a small boy, you need to go out. So these were some of the things they teach us. And there are many things they teach us and then in that bush. So it is a very interesting thing when he talk about circumcision, and I'm somebody who experienced it, because they don't take us through the hospitals or whatever. So they use traditional people. And then also the guy who was who do that circumcision, he has different magic. But because we can realize that within 30 minutes he can circumcise, let's say, 3 villages. And among these 3 villages, you can have, let's say, 5 kilometers away from each other. Let's say you will have a village here, and from here you have another 5 kilometers, another village somewhere. But he will circumcise these people here. Within 30 seconds, he appear in the other village and do the circumcision. Because how people know it, they have a gun. So this gun, after he finishes all his circumcising people, they will shoot the gun. Then he will appear also in the other village, just instant. And he just tell them, okay, how you guys are doing. He just appear, he do that. And some people even, they circumcise the people without even reaching them. They have like, it is just form of like an orange sort of. So they will have, maybe they will count the number of the boys who are there. So if it is 15 boys, they will have, let's say, that's 15 oranges. So now, the moment he cut an orange, somebody is circumcised. So yeah, it was done like that, and that's way. So it's something I experienced, and I can sing maybe 100 different, songs of traditional songs, which they taught me, in that bush. And they beat you sometimes, because when you do something wrong, like as you just said, your mother will not come there. Like your mother is not going to see you until you comes out. Normally, if you are going, they give you a wrapper. So there's a wrapper you use to cover yourself. And with that wrapper now, the moment you enter there, they're going to exchange your wrapper to somebody. Let's say your mother give you a wrapper and my mother give me a wrapper. But they know if my mother see my wrapper, he will recognize, he will know this is me.
Yeah.
So now they will take my wrapper and give it to somebody
else.
And that other person also will be giving that wrapper
to somebody
so
else.
they will be doing that.
Oh.
So now when I'm passing, if my mother see the wrapper, he will think this is me. But that is not going to be me. He say, yeah, this is my son, but it's not going to be. So when we are also passing inside the village, there are songs, we sing that, don't look at me. If you look at me, you are looking at your father. The song interpret that. If you look at me, you are looking at your sister, something like. So there's a lot of things. And also, like you form a group, normally you form a line. But the first person who is circumcised will be first. The second one will be second. So always you be like that in that bush. And there are many things, which happen along the way.
South African spiritual.
Yeah, it's recording now.
Only don't touch his head, okay? So you feel like this,
Section.
and that, no one.
Camera.
Come on, come on. Stay.
Come back.
I'm not quite sure if I'm brave enough to touch these. Right, right, right. You can see. Let me do it again. I missed the shot. One
Sister,
sec.
we don't have any baby croc because I took all the eggs away from the crocodile.
How does it feel,
I don't
Dinos?
want them to have baby crocodile because I already have 100
It's hard, like tough, like a rock. It's like a rock.
baby crocodile.